boils down to this. One game to decide your Champions League future. And it looks like it's a double-header between Inter Milan and AC. Who's going to come out on top? We'll talk about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video, this time heading into match day number 38, aka the last day of the 2018-2019 Serie A season. We'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to get you bang up to date with all things Serie A related, Blackburn Rovers related, woo, football related, all here under one roof. And that is right, folks, we are entering the last hurrah over in Italy as the season comes to a close. And there's still a couple of matters to be decided. Who's going to join Frosinone and Chievo into Serie B next season, but who's going to join Juventus, Napoli, and what looks like Atalanta in the Champions League. It's not all done and dusted. There still could be a few possible scenarios to develop, but let's get cracking and reveal last week's predictions before we head into the final day's splurge of results. Now, just before you get into these games will take place, the majority will take place on Sunday, May 26th, with a couple sprinkled over Saturday, May 25th. So let's take a look back, of course, at last weekend's results. And kick it off, it was Udinese up against SPAL. That ended up as a 3-2 win for Udinese, who keep their shots of survival intact. In fact, it's pretty much done and dusted now, unless some horrific goal-scoring events by Genoa turns the thing around. But ultimately, I actually predicted a 2-0 win for Udinese, so I got that one close to the money. Meanwhile, Genoa took on Cagliari. This was a must-win game for Genoa, but they could only muster a draw, 1-1 in the end. Actually, so it was a 1-0 win for Genoa. I thought they would pull out all stops to get themselves out of it. Meanwhile, Sassuolo took on Roma. And obviously, Ranieri looks like he's done and dusted. After the next game, they could only manage a 0-0 draw away from home. Actually saw a 3-2 win for Roma. Realistically, their Champions League hopes are all but over. They are 3 points adrift of Inter and Atalanta, but they have an inferior goal difference compared to the two. So they would need not only to win their next game big time, but the hope that the likes of Inter and Atalanta lose quite heavily as well. But yeah, moving on to Chievo up against Sampdoria. That ended up all square as well. I actually saw it in favour of Chievo. I thought they'd end their season with a win, but it looks like they end their home campaign with a draw. Not too shabby indeed at the end, just 3 losses out of 6. But realistically, their form was done. It was done and dusted long time ago. Meanwhile, Parma took on Fiorentina. That ended up as a 1-0 win for Parma, and that pushes them up to into 14th spot now. Actually, just 1 loss out of 6 for them. Still, I actually saw it was a 1-0 win, boys and girls. I called it. Bang on the nose. Empoli took on Torino, and that ended up as a 4-1 win for Empoli. They are getting themselves in order. 3 wins on the bounce for them now. I actually saw it was a 0-0 draw. I thought Torino would hold on to something, but looks like they've already clocked out for the summer. They still have outside aspirations of Europa League, and they could possibly do it if they win handsomely in the next game. But it's going to be all to do. Meanwhile, AC Milan took on Frosinone, and AC Milan got to business, boys. They got their act together, 2-0 victory over Frosinone, and that gives them an outside shot, good shot out of Champions League football. Actually, so it was a 3-1 win going in favour of Frosinone. I don't know what I was thinking. Don't look at me like that. Meanwhile, Juventus took on Atalanta. Juventus have also checked out for the summer. They're already on the beaches. That was all square, 1-1. Obviously, Atalanta looking to get into keep their spots alive. They are the story of the season over in Italy. Actually, so it was a 2-1 win going in favour of Atalanta. So not too shabby, just 1 goal shy. Napoli took on Inter Milan, but they are still game focused. Napoli obviously trying to make that gap look a little less embarrassing. Actually still stands at 11 points despite the win. That's 1 loss out of 6 for Napoli. I saw it as a 2-1 win going in favour of Napoli. Didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was, but that defeat for Inter has opened up the door for AC and possibly Roma to sneak in and upset the apple cart. I'm wrapping it up. Lazio took on Bologna, a 6-goal thriller, 3 apiece. Actually saw it was a 4-goal thriller in favour of Lazio. So I got that one wrong, folks. So that's that. Into the next and final games. It is 20th up against 19th. This is a final hurrah for the boys playing Serie A football. Next season they'll be playing in the 2nd tier. 2-0 winners in favour of Frosinone, I think. I think Chievo's form is better, but I think home form going into this one will give them a bit of a boost. Bologna up against Napoli. Now, Bologna Bologna are safe as houses in 12th spot. Just about safe as houses. They cannot go down. Their form book going into this is 3 wins out of 6, just 1 loss as well in that cluster, up against a Napoli side who look red hot tamales, boys and girls. 2-1 win for Napoli away from home here. No brainer. Torino up against Lazio. Torino in 7th. Lazio are in 8th. 1 point separate the two stars. Torino coming to this 3 wins out of 6. Same deal as Lazio. 2 cluster call, but I'm just going to edge it in favour of home form. 2-1 win for Torino. Sampdoria will take on Juventus. Like I said, Juventus have checked out. Just 1 win out of 6 for them right now. That's how bad it is. But they just don't give a flying banana because they're done. They're done and dusted. They ran away with it in all honesty, but they just checked out once they won the trophy. So I think this is a 0-0 draw. Ball snore fest. Obviously, Sampdoria coming to this 1 win out of 6 as well. So both of them shady form, and they're both done and dusted. Nothing to fight for really for Sampdoria. They're safe in 9th spot. Moving on to Fiorentina up against Genoa, and Genoa must win this game, and I see them pulling out all stops. 2-1 win to give them a shot. Obviously, they'll need to see what goes on in the Empoli game. And a win here for Genoa would see them rise to 40 points, push Empoli into the drop zone. And Empoli's form is red hot right now, so they'll need to connect to continue to another game. Meanwhile, Roma end their season and Ranieri's reign with a 2-1 win over Parma. That win will give them 66 points. It would give them a goal difference of 18. So realistically, you're going to be looking at Inter Milan losing heavily against Empoli, and I don't see that happening, folks. This win for Inter Milan will give them Champions League football, I believe, and it will send Empoli to the Secondo or Serie B, the second division of Italy. Moving on to SPAL up against AC Milan. SPAL having an up and down season, finishing in okay form, not great, but losing the past 2 in a row, and they'll make it 3 out of the row when they'll lose against AC Milan, who will just mid out on Champions League football, and they'll be in the Europa League next season. AC Milan's form is red hot as well. This will be 4 wins on the bounce, but ultimately not good enough. Atalanta will take on Sassuolo. Atalanta also needing to win, and they will win in style. 6-goal thriller, 4-2 in the end, and that will push them and keep them into 3rd spot ahead of Inter Milan, who will be into 4th spot. Sassuolo on the flip side will end up in our mid-table. Their form book coming into this is just 1 loss out of 6, but also 1 win out of 6, so not too shabby. And wrapping it up, the last game of Serie A this season, I hope, unless I've got these all back to front. This game better not take place elsewhere. No, it doesn't. It does. It is the last game, obviously, to kick off in that cluster. It's Cagliari up against Udinese. Cagliari are in 13th spot, coming into this with 1 win out of 6 up against Udinese side, who is 16th spot. Could go down, but 1 point should be a good enough for Udinese, and that is what they'll get for boys and girls with a 1-1 draw away from home to give themselves a big old boost and stick in the division for another year. That's all I got for you today, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please give it a good old thumbs up, and if you do, smash the subscribe. Keep your bang up to date with all things Serie A related, Blackburn Rovers related, football related. We've got it all here under one roof. And before I let you get out of here, make sure you check out the description. Links to my other social media platforms are in there. Twitter, Facebook, and of course the hotly released Patreon page. Boys and girls. Now, just like the other divisions, I'm going to tell you, kind of summarise what we've done here. We've predicted throughout the whole season, each and every one of the Serie A games. Some good weeks, some bad weeks, some horrific weeks, some okay weeks. But I did it. I did enjoy it. But I want to know if you guys want me to continue doing this next season. It does take up a bit of time doing these videos. You know, you're going to wait till all of the results coming through, and then you're going to be right on the money the next day or so with the next batch of predictions. So, and my time, due to my job and other things and all that kind of good stuff, is a little bit sparse, and I am trying to take on some new projects next season. But I want to know. I want to know what you think, if we should continue doing these. I appreciate any feedback you guys got. Stick it in the old comment section down below if you want me to continue on with this. Also, in the next few days, we'll wrap up the Serie A with a reaction video to my early door predictions, who I thought would win the title, who I thought would go down. I've been doing those for the rest of the leagues as well. But anyway, that is pretty much it. I did enjoy it. Juventus are supreme, but who's going to join them in the Champions League? That is still to be decided, and that will conclude in the next few days. Until then, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon. In one way or another. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.